Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where tiny coins tell big stories. If you've ever emptied your pockets or sorted through a jar of old change, you might have come across a classic penny with Abraham Lincoln's face proudly stamped on the front. It's easy to dismiss it. After all, it's just 1 cent, right? Well, not so fast. Because today, we're diving into the incredible world of the 1954 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and believe it or not, this humble copper coin might just be one of the most valuable pieces of pocket change you could ever hope to find. That's right, this little coin from 1954 is making serious waves in the world of collectors. And for a lucky few, it's brought in some absolutely jaw-dropping amounts of money. So stick around, because in just a few minutes, we'll reveal exactly how much one of these rare pennies is worth, and trust me, it's a number you won't want to miss. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic and longest-running coins in American history. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it replaced the Indian head penny and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Since then, the Lincoln cent has become a staple of American currency, recognized by just about everyone. The 1954 version comes from a particularly interesting chapter in U.S. coinage. At the time, the country was coming out of the post-war era, and while technology was advancing, the mint was still relying on traditional techniques. This means that the coins from this period, especially pennies, often show small variations and flaws that collectors now consider extremely valuable. On the obverse of the coin, you'll see the familiar image of Lincoln's profile facing right, with the word Liberty to his left and the date, 1954, stamped clearly to the right. Above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," stands as a hallmark of American ideals. The reverse features the classic wheat ears design, 2 stylized stalks of wheat bordering the phrases, 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum above. This wheat reverse design was used from 1909 to 1958 and has become especially beloved by collectors for its vintage charm. Now, what makes the 1954 Lincoln penny so special? It comes down to 2 key things: mint mark and condition, and, in some cases, rare minting errors. First, the mint mark. The 1954 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While all of these versions can be collectible in the right condition, the coins from Denver and San Francisco have drawn the most attention from collectors, especially when found in extremely high grades or with certain striking anomalies. Some 1954 pennies from the Denver Mint, for example, have shown what's called a double die error, where parts of the design, especially the lettering or date, appear double due to a slight misalignment during the minting process. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and even examples with repunched mint marks, where the mint mark was stamped more than once, creating a shadowed or distorted look. These aren't just quirks, they're golden opportunities for collectors. Why? Because the rarer the error, and the better preserved the coin, the higher its value. And speaking of preservation, let's talk about coin grading. A penny from 1954 that's been sitting in circulation for decades, scratched, discolored, or worn, isn't likely to fetch more than a few cents over face value. But one that's been carefully preserved, untouched by time and stored in near-perfect condition? That's a whole different story. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with mint state coins falling in the 60 to 70 range. A coin graded MS 65 or higher is considered gem quality. Combine that level of preservation with a rare minting error or unusual trait, and suddenly, you're holding a coin that goes from a simple cent to a true collector's treasure. Here's the wild part: most people don't even realize they might have one of these coins. That old jar of pennies your grandparents kept? That stash of change you've ignored for years? Those could be hiding coins that are worth more than you'd ever guess. So how do you check your 1954 penny? Start with a clean surface and a magnifying glass. Look at the date. Is it crisp and sharp? Can you see any doubling or strange shadows in the numbers or letters? Check for the mint mark. If it has one, is it clean or oddly shaped? Look at Lincoln's jacket, the rim of the coin, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Are the details strong and clear, or faded and worn? if your coin looks flawless, or even just unusual, it's time to consider getting it professionally graded. There are organizations like PCGS and NGC that specialize in evaluating and certifying rare coins. Getting your coin graded and authenticated can turn a suspicion into a fact, and might just put a small fortune into your hands. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Among the 1954 Lincoln pennies, there is one particular coin that stands out, a Denver minted cent with a dramatic minting error, preserved in breathtaking condition. It was discovered, authenticated, and eventually sold at a high-end auction, leaving the collecting world stunned. That one single penny, barely larger than a thumbnail and originally worth just 1 cent, sold for a jaw-dropping $76,000. Yes, you heard that right. $76,000. For a penny. It's an unbelievable story, but one that proves the value of curiosity, attention to detail, and just a little bit of luck. The next rare find could be sitting right in your home, waiting to be discovered. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a coin that might look like every other penny, but don't be fooled. The United States Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1941 holds some fascinating secrets, and in rare cases, serious value. We're about to uncover the story of this little copper coin that dates back more than 80 years. You might have one sitting in your attic, tucked into a drawer, or stored away in a forgotten coin jar. But after today, you'll want to take a second look, because this penny isn't just a piece of the past. In the right condition, with the right details, it could be worth more than a luxury car. So stay tuned, because this is a coin you'll never overlook again. Let's rewind to the year 1941. The United States was just months away from entering World War II. Across the country, families were still recovering from the Great Depression. Gas was 12 cents a gallon, a loaf of bread cost a dime, and one single penny had more purchasing power than we can imagine today. But what most people didn't realize at the time was that these pennies, especially some with very specific characteristics, would become prized collector's items decades later. The Lincoln cent had already been around for more than 30 years by 1941. It was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was a groundbreaking coin, the first U.S. currency to feature a real person's portrait. On the front, or obverse, of the coin is the instantly recognizable image of Lincoln facing right. Above his head, you'll see the word Liberty and the iconic motto, "In God We Trust." Beneath his portrait, the date, 1941. Simple, patriotic, and timeless. Now turn the coin over, and you'll see the reverse design that collectors still love today, the wheat ears reverse. Two tall stalks of wheat frame the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, with E pluribus unum sitting at the top. This reverse design was used from 1909 until 1958, and it gives these older Lincoln pennies a distinct, nostalgic charm that sets them apart from modern coins. But let's talk about what really makes the 1941 Lincoln penny valuable. First up, the mint mark. This tiny letter, usually found just below the date, tells us where the coin was made. In 1941, Lincoln pennies were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While millions of these coins were produced, not all were created equal. Coins minted in San Francisco and Denver tend to be more desirable among collectors, especially when they're found in pristine condition or with rare minting errors. And those errors? That's where things get even more exciting. In the world of coin collecting, minting mistakes aren't flaws, they're treasure. The 1941 penny has been known to appear with a double die obverse, where parts of the design, like the date, letters, or Lincoln's features, appear slightly duplicated. There are also examples of off-center strikes, die cracks, and even repunched mint marks, where the small d or s was stamped more than once, creating a visible layering effect. These types of errors didn't happen often, and finding a coin that has one of these unique features and is still in excellent condition is like striking gold. Speaking of condition, let's talk about grading. Coins are evaluated on a 70-point scale, with higher numbers indicating better preservation. A penny that has been through circulation, rubbed smooth in someone's pocket or purse, might only be worth a few cents. But a 1941 penny in mint state, MS 65 or higher, with a strong strike, sharp details, and its original red luster intact, is a whole different story. Add a rare mint error to that kind of condition, and you're looking at a coin that's not just collectible, it's extremely valuable. Now, here's something you might not know. During World War II, the U.S. Mint had to change the materials used in pennies to save copper for the war effort. That shift began in 1943, but collectors are fascinated by the pre-war coins from 1941 and 1942. These coins represent the final years of traditional copper cents before major changes in U.S. coinage. That historical significance adds even more weight to the 1941 penny's appeal. So what does this all mean for you? It means that if you have a 1941 penny, especially one with a visible mint mark or unusual design features, you need to take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass. Check the mint mark. Look for doubling, cracks, or anything that seems off. Examine the condition. Are Lincoln's hair and coat lines sharp? Are the wheat stalks on the reverse still full of detail? Is the coin bright or dull? If your penny seems special, it may be worth having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That small step could be the key to unlocking the full value of your coin. And now, the part you've been waiting for. Among the rarest 1941 Lincoln pennies ever discovered was a San Francisco minted cent, featuring a dramatic die error and preserved in absolutely stunning condition. After being authenticated, graded, and auctioned, this single 1-cent coin shocked the numismatic world with its final sale price. That single penny was sold for an astonishing $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. $83,000. For a 1-cent coin from 1941. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or rare jewels. Sometimes, it's a simple copper penny passed from hand to hand, forgotten in a drawer, until someone with a sharp eye and a bit of curiosity realizes what they have. So go ahead, check your coin jar, your old piggy bank, or your inherited coin collection. That little brown penny just might be your golden ticket. Today, we're going to explore one of the most underestimated coins in American currency, the 1949 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Most people see it as just another old copper coin, tossed aside or lost in a drawer somewhere. But what if I told you that a simple penny from 1949 could be worth more than a brand new luxury car? That's right. This small coin, barely an inch in diameter, might be hiding some serious value. And today, we're diving deep into its history, its hidden secrets, and the rare details that can turn one ordinary-looking cent into a collector's jackpot. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why this 1949 penny is anything but ordinary. Let's set the stage. The year is 1949. America is stepping into a new era after World War II. The baby boom is underway, technology is advancing, and people across the country are getting back to normal life. But while most people were focused on cars, houses, and jobs, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of coins, many of which would be forgotten in circulation, but not all of them. The Lincoln cent had already been in production for 40 years by 1949. Originally introduced in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features a side profile of Lincoln on the front, with "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to his left, and the year of minting, 1949, on the right. It's a design nearly every American has held in their hand at some point, but turn it over, and you'll see what makes older Lincoln pennies so appealing to collectors: the classic wheat ears reverse. Two tall stalks of wheat frame the phrases, 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum along the top. This wheat design was phased out in 1958, which makes every pre-1959 penny feel a little more vintage, a little more special. Now let's get into what makes the 1949 penny particularly interesting: the mint marks and the rare varieties that have made it a star among coin collectors. In 1949, Lincoln cents were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all are valued the same. The ones that came from San Francisco and Denver are often more sought after, especially when they come with unusual traits. That's right, this is where things start to get exciting. You see, during the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen. And in the world of coin collecting, a mistake can be worth a fortune. Some 1949 Lincoln cents have shown up with repunched mint marks, where the S or D was struck more than once, leaving a faint shadow or double impression. Others have slight die cracks or off-center strikes, where the image is shifted, giving the coin a surreal, almost artistic look. And then there are the ultra-rare double die varieties, where parts of the design, like the lettering or Lincoln's profile, appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during production. These errors aren't easy to spot with the naked eye, but when you find one, collectors go wild for them. But let's not forget the most important factor: condition. It's one thing to find a 1949 penny. It's another to find one that's been preserved in mint state condition, with sharp details, full original luster, and no signs of wear. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and a grade of MS 65 or higher is considered premium. Combine that with a minting error or a rare mint mark, and you've got a coin that doesn't just belong in a collector's album, it belongs in an auction house. So how do you know if your 1949 penny is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark just below the date. Is it a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco? Is the mint mark clear, or does it look doubled or unusual? Then look at Lincoln's face. Are the lines in his hair and coat still sharp? What about the wheat stalks on the back? Are they bold and defined? If your coin shows minimal wear, unusual features, or a possible minting error, it may be worth having it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. That small investment could help reveal the true value of a coin most people overlook. And now, here comes the moment you've all been waiting for. One extremely rare example of the 1949 Lincoln penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint, was found in virtually perfect condition. It had a stunning repunched mint mark and nearly flawless detail. After being certified and graded at the highest levels, it went on to fetch a price that stunned even veteran collectors. That single 1-cent coin sold for an incredible $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. $80,000. For a penny. It's an unbelievable story, but also a reminder: every coin has a story, and some are far more valuable than they appear. So before you toss that old penny aside, take a closer look. You just might be holding a small piece of American history, and a potential fortune, in the palm of your hand. Today's video is all about a classic coin that's probably passed through millions of hands over the decades, but only a handful of people ever realize just how special it could be. That's right, we're turning our spotlight on the 1957 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. If you've got an old penny collection lying around, or maybe just a jar of loose change that hasn't been touched in years, you might want to check it after watching this. Because the right 1957 penny, with the right mint mark and in the right condition, could be worth far more than just 1 cent. In fact, it could be worth thousands. Let's take a closer look at WHY. To understand the importance of this particular coin, we have to go back to post-war America. It's 1957, Elvis Presley is dominating the radio, cars are growing fins, and the Cold War is heating up. While Americans were busy adjusting to a rapidly changing world, the U.S. Mint was quietly continuing production of one of the country's most enduring coins, the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny had been in circulation since 1909, originally designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse, or front, of the coin shows a right-facing portrait of Lincoln, serious, steady, and instantly recognizable. The words, "In God We Trust," arc above his head, liberty sits to his left, and the date, 1957, to his right. But what makes the 1957 penny special isn't just what's on the front, it's what's on the back. This was one of the final years that featured the beloved wheat ears reverse, a design showing 2 sheaves of wheat surrounding the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. At the top, the phrase, E pluribus unum, reminds us of unity in diversity. This wheat design was replaced just 2 years later in 1959, when the U.S. Mint switched to the Lincoln Memorial reverse to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. Because of that transition, all-wheat pennies started to become a little more interesting to collectors, but the 1957 edition, in particular, has a few tricks up its sleeve. Let's talk mint marks. One of the most important features on any coin when determining value. In 1957, Lincoln pennies were produced at two mints, Philadelphia, which had no mint mark, and Denver, which was marked with a small D beneath the date. Both versions are collectible in their own right, but the Denver minted pennies have a bit of a reputation for being more interesting, especially due to minting errors. Here's where things start to heat up. Sometimes during the coin production process, unexpected errors occur, tiny imperfections that turn ordinary coins into rare and highly sought-after items. Some 1957 D pennies have been found with repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped more than once, leaving behind a slightly blurry or doubled impression. Others have shown signs of die cracks, off-center strikes, or even double die errors, where elements like the date or lettering appear duplicated under close inspection. These mistakes might seem small, but to serious coin collectors, they're pure gold. Why? Because mint errors are rare, and rarity drives value. Combine that with a coin that's remained in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, usually graded MS-65 or higher, and you've got something really special. Now, let's talk about condition. Most of the 1957 pennies still floating around today have been handled countless times. They've been in pockets, purses, vending machines, and piggy banks. Their surfaces are worn, their details are faded, and their original red shine has long since disappeared. These are still cool to own, but they're not the ones that fetch high prices. What you want to find is a brilliant red penny from 1957, untouched by time, with a sharp strike in full detail. One that has been preserved carefully, without scratches or discoloration. If that coin also happens to have a rare mint mark error or other unique characteristic, that's the kind of find collectors dream of. And guess what? These coins are still out there. So the big question is, how do you know if your 1957 penny is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. Is there a small D under the date? If so, take a closer look. Does it appear doubled, misaligned, or oddly shaped? Next, examine the overall condition of the coin. Are Lincoln's facial features clear? Are the wheat stalks on the reverse bold and crisp? Does the coin still have its original red luster? If you suspect you've got something special, consider having it professionally graded by a trusted company like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can significantly increase your coin's value, and it gives collectors confidence in what they're buying. Now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. Among all the 1957 pennies ever struck, there was one coin that stood above the rest. It was a Denver mint penny, with a flawless red surface, preserved in mint condition, and featuring an extremely rare repunched mint mark. It went to auction, drew the attention of serious collectors from around the world, and ultimately sold for a staggering amount. That single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, ended up selling for $78,000. Yes, you heard that right. $78,000, for a 1-cent coin. It's a reminder that history, rarity, and a bit of luck can turn even the smallest piece of change into a life-changing discovery. So next time you're sorting through your coins or cleaning out an old drawer, don't rush past those pennies, especially the ones from 1957. You never know what might be hiding right under your nose. Today, we've got something that might be hiding in your loose change or your coin collection, a 1950 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it may just look like an old penny, but let me tell you, it could be much more than that. If you've ever wondered whether that penny from the 1950s has any real value beyond its face value, this video is for you. The 1950 Lincoln penny may not seem like anything out of the ordinary, but there's a twist. While millions were minted, the truth is, some of these pennies are exceptionally rare, and if you've got one, it might just be worth a small fortune. So, if you've got a 1950 penny lying around, it's time to take a second look. Let's start by looking at the history behind the 1950 Lincoln penny. This was a period in American history where the country was moving forward after World War II, experiencing economic growth and change. The Lincoln penny itself, which first debuted in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had been in circulation for decades by 1950. The front of the penny features a profile of Abraham Lincoln, as designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust," a statement that continues to remind us of the nation's heritage. Now, what sets the 1950 Lincoln penny apart from other pennies? For one, it's part of the Wheat Ears series, which was produced from 1909 all the way until 1958. The back of the coin features two sheaves of wheat, a design that is highly recognizable and beloved by collectors. Above the wheat stalks, you'll see the words E pluribus unum, and below them, the words United States of America and 1 cent. The design remains iconic, and it's this very design that makes the 1950 penny so collectible. But now, let's talk about what could make your 1950 penny so valuable. Mint marks. As you may already know, coins struck in the United States are minted at several locations. In 1950, pennies were produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. The mint mark plays a crucial role in determining the value of the coin, and here's why. The 1950 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is particularly noteworthy. It's one of the most popular versions of the coin, and while many were made, only a small percentage are in exceptional condition. A high-quality 1950 D penny in MS 65 or higher can attract significant attention from coin collectors. But it's not just the mint mark that makes the 1950 penny valuable. Some of these coins have incredibly rare errors that make them stand out even more. Some 1950 pennies have been found with double die errors, where the design elements, like the date or lettering, appear doubled or shifted, due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors are highly sought after and can drastically increase a penny's value. There are also repunched mint marks on certain 1950 pennies, where the mint mark was struck more than once, leaving behind a blurry or double impression. And let's not forget about die cracks, where cracks in the die caused extra details on the coin, creating a unique and one-of-a-kind piece. The beauty of coins like the 1950 Lincoln penny is that there's always the potential for discovery. If you happen to have a coin with one of these minting errors or it's in mint condition, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. This is where it gets exciting for collectors. When coins like these are graded by professional services, their value skyrockets, sometimes reaching amounts that will leave you absolutely stunned. So, how do you determine whether your 1950 penny is worth more than its face value? It's all about condition and rarity. Most of the 1950 pennies in circulation have been through the grinder of daily transactions. Over the years, they've been in pockets, purses, and vending machines, and most are worn down with noticeable signs of wear and tear. These coins are still valuable as part of a collection, but they'll likely never fetch the big bucks. But if you've got a mint state 1950 penny, one that's nearly flawless, with sharp details and no noticeable damage, then you've got a coin that's worth paying attention to. In fact, a graded MS 65 or higher example of a 1950 penny can easily attract bids from serious collectors, and here's where the excitement really starts. There's one particular 1950 Lincoln penny that shocked the coin world when it was sold at auction. This coin, a 1950 D penny, had been carefully preserved in perfect condition, with not a single blemish. It was a true mint state coin, and it was certified with a rare repunched mint mark error. After it was graded, it was put up for auction, and what happened next left even the most seasoned collectors in disbelief. This rare and pristine 1950 penny went for a jaw-dropping $79,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $79,000 for a penny that originally cost just 1 cent. It's a reminder that coins are more than just currency, they're pieces of history, and some of them can fetch a fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1950 penny, whether it's AD, S, or no mint mark at all, remember that it could be a lot more valuable than you think. Inspect it carefully, check for any errors, and if it's in great condition, you might just have a treasure on your hands. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1950 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, minting errors, and hidden gems from the past, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. Who knows, your next find might just be the next $79,000 penny.